What's up you guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please subscribe and watch my other videos to learn more about how to study in the US. I make a lot of videos. Recently, I know I've been getting a lot of DMs on Instagram and a lot of comments that I haven't been making a lot of videos, but that's because I've been super busy. Believe me or not, my second year just started and it's been super busy. But here I am again. I'm gonna try to make a video today to explain you guys the transfer process, because a lot of students who want to come to community college are always worried about the transfer process, which happens after 2 years. So basically, let me explain in brief again. A bachelor's degree is 4 years long in the US. Community colleges are affordable, cheaper options with quality education, which give you an associate's degree at 2 years. So the first 2 years you save a lot of money, and then you transfer to another university to finish your bachelor's degree. Now, a lot of students are worried about choosing to come to a community college because of the transfer process. And yes, it can be sometimes pretty challenging because in other countries there's nothing like the transfer kind of process which happens here. So it's difficult to get more details on it, and then you're deciding whether you should go to a university directly or you should go to a community college. So, and believe me, I was not an expert at it before I chose to a community college, but guess what? Now I'm kind of not an expert, but I know a lot about the transfer process, and I'm gonna just brief you through what exactly happens and why you should not be worried about it. So basically, when you come to the US, you're gonna take classes, right? There are different levels of classes which depends on your major. For example, I am a physics major, okay? Now, to transfer to another university, and okay, sorry, going back to the classes, every class which you take lasts for 1 semester. So every semester you can change your classes. You take one class of physics, one class of math, one class of film or something, and all these classes have units or credits. Units and credits are the same thing, or even sometimes credit hours. All of those are the same thing. So basically, like a physics or math class will give you 4 to 5 units. You need to collect at least like around 60 units to transfer to a Cal State or a University of California system. So California community colleges have agreements with the UCs and the CSUs for transferring. It makes the process much simpler. Transferring to a UC is like coming as a freshman to a UC is probably more difficult than transferring to a UC from a community college. Especially like UC Berkeley. UC Berkeley freshman acceptance rates are lower than transfer acceptance rate. So it's easier to get into UC Berkeley as a transfer student. And with OCC honors program, just Google what OCC honors program is. So honors is a little bit harder classes which you take, and you get certified as an honors student. And the acceptance rate for UCLA from OCC is 91% through the OCC honors program. So there's a 91% chance that you'll get accepted and you will get a bachelor's degree from UCLA if you go through the Orange Coast College honors program, which is technically 2 years long, and you take some extra classes for that. So, and there are a lot of other opportunities. Community colleges does not mean that they are like smaller colleges which are not well known or anything. Community colleges are an excellent pathway which I myself chose for my life. And as you might know, like coming to a university in America is a big decision for your life. And I chose this for my life, so I definitely recommend. And with my experiences, I recommend to you also consider choosing the community college pathway. Now, as I said earlier, you take some classes, right? Each class has different levels, and all the classes also have units. You need to gather a specific number of units to transfer to a university. Now, all these universities have different requirements for different majors. Sorry, is that making noise? Okay, I think he's gone. So all the universities have different requirements of different number of units. Some universities require 24 units, some require 50 units, 60 units. But at average, if you want to go to a UC or a Cal State, it's usually like around 60 units. You need 60 or more units. Now, where do these units come from? How do you select the classes? The good thing is you and your academic counselor work together to select your classes for every semester. So what basically happens is if you are a physics major, like I'm gonna use my example to explain what happens. Since I'm a physics major, you have to take physics major related classes, and then you have to take some general education classes. Now, here's the twist. This is a big difference in the American educational system and the British and Indian education, or any other educational system, most of them. The American education system has a very wide and universal approach to a bachelor's degree. That's one of the reasons why it takes 4 to 5 years. American educational system wants you to study your major and also know a little bit about many different other subjects like psychology, film, art, history, economics, business, blah blah blah. There's literally more than 100 options of general education classes. So what they basically give you is, they'll tell you like for transferring you need around 30 out of 60, maybe around 30 to 40 general education units. And all these general education units comes from classes. Each general education class is around 3 units at average, 3 units per class. So meaning 30 units is 10 classes. And then they'll give you a list of 100 classes to choose from. And they have some branches and stuff, and you choose around 10 classes which you like. All those classes will have descriptions, will have explanations of what you will study in that class. For example, 2 of the classes that I took were Film 100 and Psychology 100. So it's Introduction to Film History and the Introduction to Psychology. So it's not super detailed, and these classes are not super hard also. Film 100, I learned about the history of Hollywood and a little bit about like the history of Hollywood, the directors, how the Academy Awards came through and stuff. So it's more about like, it's kind of like the American educational mentality of teaching you a little bit about all the subjects, as I said earlier. Now, Psychology 100, I learned a little bit about how the human brain functions, or how emotional intelligence and how other people think, and just some experiments or stuff like that. And all these things help you a lot to have information or have general knowledge about many different topics. Now in India, we do have something like this, but we name it general education. We actually have a subject called general education, and I think it stops after like grade 10 or something. But that's the thing. I mean, that's the difference in between American educational system. Now going back to the major. So as I said, that 60 units come from major and general education classes. Now the major classes for me are physics and mathematics and chemistry classes. Now for me, and when you want to transfer to a university, so when you come to a community college, there are 2 possibilities, or actually 3 possibilities. The one possibility is that you want to transfer to a university that you know. For example, if you choose to come to OCC and you want to transfer to UCLA, you have a clear goal of where you want to transfer. So you'll work with your counselor to make your educational plan for 2 years to transfer to UCLA. Now, the second option or second mentality which students come here through is like me. When I came to a community college, I did not know where I want to transfer. Even like still right now, I don't know where I want to transfer. But guess what? All the units which you will take here, 95% of them will transfer to another university. So it's like most of the things which you will do here will be recognized by the university that you transfer to. And when you want to like become a physics major, for example, it's definitely you have to take like physics classes and maths classes and chemistry classes. And all these universities have clear requirements on their websites. So when you come to a community college, you go through all their websites, you see which classes are general, which ones they need, and then you take those classes at a community college. Now the twist here is that the classes which I take at a community college are exactly the same as the classes which another student would take at UCLA or UC Berkeley in their first 2 years. Even general education classes, they are the same. Professors are different, but guess what? Since OCC or Orange Coast College is a pretty big community college, there are many visiting professors from UCLA, from Vanguard University, Chapman University, UC Irvine. So all these big universities around our campus have professors coming in all the time, and a lot of these professors teach your entire classes. My physics professor right now is a physics professor at UC Irvine. So some student who went to UC Irvine pays $60,000 per year to take the same class. from the same professor at UC Irvine, and I pay what, $8,000 a year to take the same class from the same professor at Orange Coast College. It's a fantastic way of saving money, isn't it? Now, as I said, I'm a physics major, so for physics, I checked all the websites and stuff. One of the websites that I would encourage you, if you are, I mean, I don't want to overwhelm you with a lot of information, because transferring is a lot of information, because there are thousands of universities in America and many options to choose from, many agreements to choose from. So I don't want to overwhelm you, but if you are super interested in learning more, then go to assist.org. This website has the clear agreements of transferring to a Cal State or a UC. Yeah, Cal State and UCs, and there's a list of all the things. For example, what you would basically do is, for example, search Orange Coast College, and then from Orange Coast College to UC Berkeley, for example. Search that and select the major which you want, and that major pops up and it shows you a clear agreement of which classes UC Berkeley students take in their first 2 years and which classes you have to take at OCC to transfer to UC Berkeley for your 3rd year. Does that make sense? Hopefully. For me, it's physics level 1, level 2, level 3, mathematics level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. Now, when I say levels, it's basically the same thing. It's sometimes the levels are called differently in different universities. So they have codes. All the classes have codes. Earlier, I mentioned Film 100. So 100 was the code for that film class, which is basically the introduction to film. Now, what happens is you go up one after the other and take higher level courses. For film, since it was a general education class, I don't need to take the higher film classes. I just took Film 100 and that's it. That was just one general education class which I needed. But for physics, for example, I started with Physics 185. I was not required to take the lower ones because I took them in high school, for example. They evaluate your transcripts and stuff, and then they place you to a good enough educational, to the level, I mean, the physics level that they place me in is 185. Now, it's not like, it doesn't go like 100, 101, 102, 103. It doesn't go like that. All of them have different things. So don't worry about that a lot. I'm just going to use level 1 to 3 and not like the codes itself, because the codes are specific only to Orange Coast College and they're probably called different in different universities. So level 1 of physics for me at the college was mechanics. Mechanics, I did study that in high school too. But guess what? It's a little bit more to all the topics. The topics are probably going to be the same, you know, forces and whatever, momentum and stuff like that, but it's going to be way more detailed. So it's a college class, it's not a high school class. Even if you think like you've studied mechanics, you're like, oh, you're good at it, I don't need to take that class. But no, it's not like that. I used to think like that, but it's more into detail. Physics level 2 for me was electromagnetism, and you learn about like all the electromagnetic stuff, which you already probably I learned in high school, and then you learn more detailed into, and you do a lot of experiments and stuff. All the science classes comes with its own labs. So I have to go to my physics class and then I have to go to my physics lab also. My physics level 3 is modern physics, nuclear physics, atomic physics, etc, etc. Mathematics, level 1 for me was calculus 1. Calculus is basically means differentiation and integration, but much more into detail. That's level 1 is calc 1. Level 2 is calculus 2, level 3 is calculus 3, and level 4 for me is linear algebra. I haven't reached there yet. I'm in calculus 3 right now. So talking about general education, again, as I said, general education has many options. Many students often get confused about which classes to take. Many students that I know make a big mistake that they just take their major educational classes and they just disregard the general education classes. They think it's not important, but it's not like that. It's another reason why I'm making this video is to make you guys realize that when you come to America, it's a different life. You need to experience, or you need to live by the educational mentality that is in American institutions. They live by general education classes, knowing a little bit about all the subjects. So take it positively. Take general education classes very positively, which I do. And believe me or not, my first general education class was Film 100. The first day I go to class, I'm like, why do I need to know about Hollywood history? I want to become a physicist. I want to do engineering jobs or computer science stuff, but I don't want to do like, why would I study film? And you pay for these classes, so you're like, why am I spending too much money for all these film things? But after my first semester, I completely changed my mind. General education classes give you so much information. They make you think about the world in a completely different way. I live in Southern California, learning about Hollywood. When I go to actual Hollywood, which is like 1 hour away from me, when I go there, I'm seeing all these buildings and posters of people, and I know the history behind them. What is this happening? Even sometimes Hollywood Boulevard, like the streets. So you learn about a lot of different stuff. I don't want to waste time on that, but just believe me or not, take it positively, and you will learn a lot of stuff from general education classes. And I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that you do not take general education classes when you transfer to a university. You're only required to take them at a community college, or if you miss general education classes at a community college, then you have to take them when you go to university. Now talking about transfer agreements. So why you should not be worried about transferring to a university. One thing, I've been super active at my community college. I have met hundreds of students from hundreds of countries, coming with all types of stories, families, economical backgrounds, every type of people possible. And believe me or not, I have not met a single student who has not transferred to a university, or who wanted to and was not accepted to any university that he wanted to transfer to. So let me repeat, I have not met a single student who wanted to transfer to a university and he did not get into any of them. Never. It's kind of impossible, but like 99.99% impossible, you know. If you have good enough grades, I don't mean all A's, people with C's and D's, and sometimes also like B's and E's, it depends on your GPA, but there are thousands of universities, so there will be that one university which accepts you. Two reasons why you should not be worried about transferring. Number one is transfer guaranteed agreements. Community colleges, especially Orange Coast College, is pretty well known, so we have a lot of transfer agreements with universities around America and also abroad. Wait, I don't think we have agreements abroad, but we do have connections abroad. We definitely have agreements with a lot of universities in the US. So what you basically do is you sign these agreements, or you read their terms and conditions, and you follow their requirements. You follow the classes which they require you to take to transfer to their university for a specific major. So for 2 years when you're here, you take those classes and they basically guarantee you admission. But all you need to do is you need to apply early. You need to apply there early to show them that you're really interested in that university. When you show that to them, they are usually very welcoming, and they want to, like, you know, they want more students, so they'll have you like accept your agreements. And if they accept your agreement, then you're pretty much guaranteed transfer to that university. Now number two is we have a lot of transfer fairs. The place you see behind me always has like transfer fairs where university representatives come from different universities, and they share knowledge about their university with you. So you can just like ask them all your questions, and you can have them review your transcripts or something. And when they come here, they will answer all your questions about transferring to that university, and transferring to that university. And I mean, there's not a lot to worry about. I can understand you're pretty worried that what if I'm not able to transfer to a university after I decide to go to a community college. But as I said earlier, it's very rare. And sorry, earlier there were my friends walking by, I got confused, I got distracted. But whatever, that was pretty much how I wanted to explain you how the transfer system works. Now assist.org, the website which I showed you, is a website for Cal States and UCs, but there are hundreds of private universities across the world, across America, that also accept transfer students. All you need to do is search the name of the university and put in like international transfer admissions behind it. For example, search for Texas Christian University international admissions or international transfer admissions, all the universities have their international admissions website, and all those websites have details about transferring from a community college. And believe me or not, transferring process is much more easier than a freshman application process. You are in the US, you have all these resources around you, and you have absolutely, pretty amazing educational background. All the classes which you take at OCC are like amazing, and there's not a lot to worry about. That's all I want to say. That's pretty much all of what I want to talk to you about today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, you can ask me on the comment section down below. But before that, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel and share this video with many students possible, because a lot of students do have issues with paying. Like studying in the US, money is the biggest thing, So community colleges are a great pathway. Definitely consider them, and don't worry about the transfer process. I would not know a lot of details about the transferring to a specific university, so I would suggest go to the university's website and look for information. But thank you so much for watching. That's all I have for you today. And follow me on Instagram, by the way.